Welcome back to TYT Sports, talking UFC, women's UFC, this time Lindsay McCormack, Ben Goldstein from Caged Potato. So the talking point is concerning women's UFC. What is people's perspectives on it? Because I, for one, haven't watched it as much, so I don't know what's going on in the UFC world. What do people think about it? Because I know Ben was talking to us before, thinks that some people are a little uncomfortable to watch it.
Yeah.
Some people class it in the same realm as what people class women's NBA in, if it's just not up to that same level as men. What do you think?
See, I am very pro-female,
Okay.
but at the same time, I will not watch the WNBA. I don't know why it's in existence. I think there are just some things that men are better at than women, and basketball is one of them.
Yeah.
But I love watching Ronda Rousey fight. I think she's one of the best fighters in the UFC.
Okay.
But I don't feel like she's really had a real competition yet.
Yeah. Well, let's ask the expert, Ben Goldstein. What do you think on this matter?
You know, the WNBA comparison is so great because, like, yeah, if you watch that, you know, WNBA, the women are good, but they're maybe not big and athletic enough to dunk the ball. It's just kind of a different sport. But I don't see women's MMA fighting as the same way. You see the same knockouts and submissions and killer instinct that you do in men's fighting. I mean, you just look at this the bantamweight women's fight that was just on this UFC 181 card, where Raquel Pennington, you know, put Ashley Evans Smith to sleep with that Bulldog Choke. It was probably the most violent moment of the evening. It was totally nasty. It was nasty and awesome at the same time. And I think moments like that are exactly what women's MMA needs, you know, to convince maybe the skeptics that, you know, this could be, women's fighting could be equally as violent as men's fighting.
I just remember watching the Miesha Tate, Ronda Rousey second fight, which was on with the Anderson Silva Weidman fight. And obviously that one didn't last very long because Anderson Silva got injured and we didn't expect him all to come back, which is extraordinary in itself.
Yeah.
But to me, the Ronda Rousey fight, and I know I watched it with a lot of my family members, which is crazy, but they all loved it. Like, it was the favorite fight of the evening out of all the other undercard fights.
Yeah, so that's maybe the issue, is that because maybe do we need more fighters like Ronda Rousey in the women's UFC game so that more people can get involved? Because right now it seems like she's the focus point of the sport. Yeah,
but she's a rarity. How do you find someone like Ronda Rousey?
I don't know. How do you find someone like Francis Maxwell? You go and search. So, I mean, it is an interesting topic. Any final points for you, Ben, on it? I mean, I personally think that the Bulldog Choke, for one, was one of the worst that I've seen. I mean, it was just, it was interesting to watch at the same time. But as you said, you're amazed by it as well, because it's something that you don't see every day.
Absolutely. I mean, it's sort of like we were saying before. I mean, I think there are some people who are against women's MMA just because they have this sort of negative, visceral reaction to it. It makes them uncomfortable. They think it's like morally or aesthetically wrong. And we're never going to win their hearts and minds. But then, you know, there are also people who just think the talent level isn't quite there. And when you see Ronda Rousey, you know, slicing through people, it kind of seems that way sometimes. Ronda Rousey is on another level compared to her competition. You could say the exact same thing about, say, John Jones or even Anthony Pettis now. So I don't think, you know, if people are not watching this because of gender, they're missing out. It's just as entertaining. It's just as ferocious when women are doing the sport as men. You know, I'm totally a fan of women's MMA. And I've been following the strawweight season, The Ultimate Fighter. These semifinalists on the show are amazing. Rose Namajunas, she's a stone cold killer. Ronda Marco, she's got like a heart of a lion. She's like a female Frankie Edgar. I'm so excited to see women in the sport grow. And I think it'll take culture a little while longer to catch up, but they'll get there.
I mean, there's also people that are going to say that a female shouldn't be covering sports either. So you're always going to have haters.
No, well, I'm glad we have you here. It's great to have you on. It's good to have someone to talk back and forth with, as well as
you just answered that question.
Yeah. So thank you again, Ben. Great perspective. Great points on it, to be honest. Points that more people should maybe take on board when it comes to involving women on sports as a whole. So thanks again for joining us. Ben from CagedPotato.com, Lindsay McCormack. Thanks again. Check us all out. All the descriptions and link below. You can follow us on social media and subscribe to TYT Sports for more talking points like this.